I said I will make more Kimba content and here it is. Just like how I will at least make one Lion King video per year, I will also have an annual Kimba video. I have already reviewed all the Kimba movies so you can check it out if you are interested. And now it is time to talk about the animated shows. But because it will take a longer time than watching just a single movie, each year I will review only one animated show. And I will go in chronological order. So now it is time to review the 1965 Kimba the White Lion animated show. And it is the first anime TV show in history that was in color, so there's the legacy of it. I could talk about the fact that many people wrongly assumed that the Lion King ripped off this franchise, but in my Kimba movies video I said that I didn't find any similarities between them other than being the story of a lion in Africa, and also channels like YMS have already discussed it in detail that Lion King ripping off Kimba is nothing but a lie. And I could also start the video with a few informations about Tezuka, the person who has created Kimba the White Lion among many more IPs and has been given nicknames like Walt Disney of Japan and also the father of manga and anime. But now there is a video about all the mangas created by Takashi Tezuka and it does talk about his personal life as well. And that video is honestly one of my favorite YouTube videos ever. So yeah, if you're interested in those, these two videos are the ones to watch. Last year that I wanted to talk about Kimba, at first I wanted to compare it to Lion King and say my opinions about it as a Lion King fan. But after watching that video I realized that comparing Kimba to Lion King isn't really a good thing and it will just tarnish the legacy of Takashi Tezuka. So yeah, each time I will talk about Kimba, I will try not to compare it to Lion King. And I will appreciate Kimba for what it really is, not for what people think it is. I had a lot of fun when I was watching the movie, so I am kinda excited for this one. So yeah, just like my ranking of the Lion Guard episodes and Timon and Pumbaa episodes, I will give a brief review and narration of each episode, and in the end I will rank it and then give my overall opinion for the show. So yeah, let's start. Episode 1, Legend of the Claw. The episode starts in a kinda creepy way. At first we see Africa at its purest form, but slowly industrialization happens and cities replace jungles. Hunters will destroy forests and capture animals. Panja the White Lion, king of the jungle, will stop them. The lead hunter realizes he can't deal with Panja the old-fashioned way, so he comes up with a plan. When Panja is rescuing some animals from the farms, he records the voice of his roars and will use it as a bait to lure Elena, Panja's mate, into a trap. When Panja tries to rescue Elena, the hunter will shoot Panja, killing him. With his last breath, he asks Elena to name their soon-to-be-born cub Kimba if it is a boy. The hunters will take Elena to a ship in order to transport her to America. The animals realize that a storm is approaching, so Elena tells Kimba, who was born on the ship, to escape the ship and swim back to Africa. Kimba will do as he is told, and on the way he will mourn his mother, who alongside everyone else on the ship died during the storm. Episode 2, The Wind of the Desert. Kimba enters the jungle. Two hyenas try to hunt a deer and Kimba tries to stop them, but a man with a gun is the one to scare them off. The other animals celebrate the return of their prince. Kimba tells them that before reaching here, he lived in a city for a while and he saw some stuff that was fascinating. He hears about hunters and tries to stop them. He will be captured, but one of the hunters will set Kimba free because he was actually a government spy who wanted to find the secret weapons those hunters had. He will die while helping Kimba. Kimba realizes that sometimes he needs to fight in order to bring peace, so he will outsmart a bully lion named Claw in order to defeat him. Episode 3, A Human Friend. A couple named Jonathan and Mary are stuck in the jungle because of a plane crash and have been waiting for days so that someone could come and rescue them. Jonathan is just chilling, but Mary can't live in a jungle. They will finally find a bridge that will take them to a human civilization, but the bridge will break down and Jonathan will go down with it. Mary, believing Jonathan to be dead, continues without him, not knowing Jonathan is alive. He will stay with the animals for a while and will hear a broken leg of a giraffe. The animals realize that not all humans are bad, so Kimba will start a school in order to teach the human language to the animals. The rhinos are against it, but Kimba will defeat them. In the end, a bunch of monkeys will create a bridge for Jonathan, but he decides to stay. Dude loves the jungle life so much he chooses to let go of his mourning wife. Episode 4, Law of the Jungle. A buffalo will bring a few farm animals for Kimba to feast upon. Kimba refuses and says the farm animals should go back to the farm or else the humans will attack them. The buffalo disagrees and the other animals will take his side because they fear him. But when Kimba outsmarts the hunters, the buffalo will respect him. The farm animals will willingly go back to the farms because that is the only life they know. Episode 5, A Friend Indeed. A leopard cub will attack Kimba. When Kimba asks the reason, he says because Panjo killed his grandpa. When he says his name, Kimba says that he knows his grandpa and Panjo didn't kill him. He tells a memory to prove it. So Kimba lived with Jonathan and Mary when he first escaped the ship. That is a bad retcon. I am sure the last time they showed up they didn't know him. Kimba says he met his grandpa in the sewers. He told Kimba that he went blind because he was captured for a circus and he was mistreated by them. Then some humans show up and kill him. When Kimba finishes the story, the leopard cub doesn't believe him, so he attacks. When Kimba defeats him, he shows compassion and as a result they become friends. Episode 6, Jungle Wolf. Kimba becomes a farmer. Episode 7, Rumble in the Jungle. In this episode, Leah, Kimba's love interest, shows up. Claw also wants her. At least Scar waited for Nala to grow up. Claw's right hand, Black Panther, comes up with a plan to make a civil war and get rid of Kimba. It seemingly works. Claw will take over and Leah agrees to become Claw's bride on the condition of leaving the other animals alone. At the last minute, Kimba shows up and saves Leo. Episode 8, Flood of the Grasshoppers. There are two problems in this episode. First is that Kimba is forcing all the animals to eat grass, even the ones that need meat. The other problem is that grasshoppers are destroying their farms. One animal realizes that grasshoppers to them is as tasty as meat, so Kimba comes up with a plan to kill two birds with one stone. They will trap all the grasshoppers and the carnivores will eat the grasshoppers instead of meat or vegetables. Still, I just don't like the fact that Kimba forces carnivores to live against their own nature. Yeah, Kimba doesn't believe in the circle of life. Episode 9, The Flying Tiger. In this episode, Kimba will deal with a tiger with wings. Sure, single-handedly make the lion guard blush. Episode 10, Two Hearts and Two Minds. Kimba feels Leo is in danger, so he goes to pay her a visit with his friends. On the way, Paulie the green parrot tells the rest that he used to be a pet, but when he saw a red parrot, he fell in love. The red parrot gets captured, so Paulie escapes and set the red parrot and some other birds free. But a war happens and the red parrot seemingly dies. When they reach Leo's home, it is on fire, so they put out the fire. At the end, they realize the red parrot is alive and well, but it will end in a comedic way because she actually has a husband and children now. Episode 11, Catch Them If You Can. Kimba and many more animals will be captured by some of the best hunters. led by this lady. Thanks to one hunter who is a man of his words, they will escape, but it won't be the last time they will see those hunters. Episode 12, The Hunting Ground. This lady strikes back and chaos ensues. Also, apparently she is either an amnesiac Mary or her twin sister or something. Episode 13, The Trappers. Penja's killer return. Kimba doesn't remember him at first, so the animals will get fooled by him and get captured. But the animals will defeat the hunters once again. In the end, even one of the hunters get a redemption arc. Episode 14, Legend of the White Lion. This one is the lore heavy episode. Leah's uncle Majestica is racist towards white lions, but when Jonathan tells Kimba that white lions are the descendants of a lion sent by God to save Egypt from its evil king, it will boost his confidence. He will go back to Majestica and will prove his worth to him by showing his bravery and fairness, and will teach Majestica to respect everyone. Episode 15, Egg Hunt. The eggs of the jungle will end up in a river and Kimba and friends will save them. And some shenanigans will happen after that. Episode 16, Diamonds in the Gruff. Because of a misunderstanding, crocodiles will capture some young animals. Kimba and friends will save the animals and make peace. Episode 17, The Magic Serpent. A snake god shows up and thanks to a stinky vulture, Kimba can defeat him. Episode 18, The Runaway. A warthog shows up who has a very low self-esteem because of being ugly, and it takes a while to work on his confidence. Episode 19, The Mystery of the Desert. In this episode, we will see the long-lost sister of Kimba. She lives in an empty village in which the skins of their ancestors are kept. Some other shenanigans happen, but it doesn't matter really. Episode 20, Jungle Restaurant. Kimba and friends start a restaurant. Episode 21, The Bad Baboon. A bunch of evil baboons show up and our heroes have to deal with them. Episode 22, Dangerous Journey. A fever will hospitalize almost all the animals and an old antelope will go to a dangerous mountain to find a cure. When he cures the rest, he himself gets the fever. So this time Kimba will go to find the cure for him. Episode 23, The Gigantic Grasshopper. Because of radioactivity, a grasshopper becomes giant and Kimba should defeat it. Episode 24, The Magic Potion. Kimba will be poisoned and seemingly die, but he is actually alive, but was in a situation like a vampire being stabbed in the chest. It looks dead, but the moment you take the sharp thing out of its chest, it becomes alive again. So yeah, Kimba kinda comes back to life and defeats the bad guys. Episode 25, Too Many Elephants. Some elephants are breaking the circle of life, so humans exterminate them. Episode 26, A Revolting Development. Some animals want meat, and thanks to a scientist who can create meat out of a specific tree, the problem gets solved. Episode 27, The Chameleon Who Cried Wolf. A chameleon shows up who lies all the time until one day she tells the truth and nobody believes it. Episode 28, The Wild Wildcat. A bully wildcat shows up who is a menace to society. But when Kimba realizes he is like this because he lost his mother, he tries to befriend him and it slowly works. Episode 29, The Nightmare Narcissus. An evil sentient flower shows up that with its perfume can make animals hallucinate and go berserk, and it can also fight with its vines. Kimba and friends should be more creative to destroy it. Episode 30, Adventure in the City. Majestica ends up in a city and Kimba and friends have to rescue him. Episode 31, City of Gold. Kimba and those two antagonistic hyenas get trapped in a maze and they have to learn how to work together to escape. Episode 32, The Last Poacher. A bunch of talented hunters show up and our heroes have to stop stop them. Episode 33, Jungle Justice. A bad-mannered hippo is accused of harming an innocent bird and some shenanigans happen until he is proven innocent. Episode 34, Jungle Fun. After Kimba defeats Claw's panther and hyena henchmen twice in a row, Claw would kick them out so they join Kimba's friends. Episode 35, The Pretenders. Turned out that the entirety of the previous episode was a lie. It was all part of the plan so that Claw and his henchmen could take control. And they almost succeeded. Episode 36, The Monster of Petrified Valley. A kind but clumsy monster shows up. You may think just like other kiddie cartoons. At first they fear him, but in the end they welcome him with open arms. But no, dude actually dies in the end. Episode 37, Legend of the Hippo Valley. Kimba and friends make a dam. Episode 38, Volcano Island. A rhino will fight Kimba because he doesn't like how he's making them like humans the more time passes. But when a volcano erupts, they will put aside their differences to save everyone. Episode 39, Running Wild. An army of infinite antelopes have gone wild and are uncontrollably running forward, destroying everything on their way with the stampede they started. They are going right into a sea, so Kimba and friends come up with a plan to save them. But their plan doesn't work and they only manage to save some of them. Episode 40, The Troublemaker. An entire episode of Kimba suffering. This baby ostrich is a demon spawn, I tell you. It gets resolved in the end, but he was so annoying during the episode. Episode 41, Destroyers from the Desert. A titanic elephant and two small animals show up. They are known as the Destroyers from the Desert and they will destroy everything on their way. They will defeat Kimba and take over the jungle. Kimba is badly injured. While he is healing, he trains. And after a few days, he will defeat them. So they agree to run away and never return. Episode 42, The Balloon That Blows Up. Kimba and friends accidentally travel with a balloon and many shenanigans happen. Episode 43, Monster of the Mountain. Kimba lives with polar bears for a while. Episode 44, A Friend Indeed, not to be confused with A Friend Indeed. Through flashbacks, we see how Kimba and Jonathan met. Episode 45, Such Sweet Sorrow. This lady strikes back and this time she will gain back her memory. Yes, she was in fact an amnesiac Mary. So now this time Jonathan, his uncle and Mary will leave the jungle and go back to their home. Episode 46, The Return of Fancy Prancy. A female cheetah that has been raised by humans for a year comes back to the jungle. She acts even more like a human than Kimba, so some can't stand her, but she also has lots of simps. So a civil war happens, but in the end they will all reunite against an army of ants. Episode 47, The Cobweb Caper. A gigantic spider shows up and it almost becomes a horror episode. Episode 48, The Red Menace. A big fire almost destroys the jungle and everyone would team up to prevent it. Episode 49, The Sun Tree. An old tree is dying and Simba has to save it. Episode 50, Soldier of Fortune. Kimba and friends take a trip to the ocean. Episode 51, The Day Sun Went Out. Leona, Kimba's sister, pays him a visit and asks him to help her transport the pelt of their ancestors to a safer place. On the way, Kimba chooses to save their friends instead of the pelts. So he and Leona argue and leave each other. Leona will find all the pelts and put them in a shrine, but will get captured. After a while, Kimba decides to put aside his differences and save his sister. Kimba and Leona together will defeat their enemies and then reconcile. Episode 52, Silvertail the Renegade. Hunters are after an old lion and Kimba convinces the rest to help the old lion. Yeah, I think if this episode swapped places with the last episode, we could have a better series finale. Now, let's rank the episodes. Number 52, The Troublemaker. Episode 51, The Chameleon Who Cried Wolf. Number 50, The Gigantic Grasshopper. And number 49, The Cobweb Caper. Number 48, Flood of the Grasshopper. And number 47, A Revolting Development. Number 46, The Pretenders. Number 45, Monster of the Mountain. Number 44, Jungle Justice. Number 43, Rumble in the Jungle. Number 42, Jungle Beef. Number 41, A Human Friend. Number 40, A Friend Indeed. Number 39, The Magic Serpent. Number 38, Diamonds in the Gruff. Number 37, Jungle Restaurant. Number 36, The Bad Baboon. Number 35, The Balloon That Blows Up. Number 44, The Red Menace. Number 33, A Friend Indeed. Number 32, Too Many Elephants. Number 31, Running Wild. Number 30, The Wild Wildcat. Number 29, Soldier of Fortune. Number 28, The Sun Tree. Number 27, Legend of Hippo Valley. Number 26, City of Gold. Number 25, Volcano Island. Number 24, The Nightmare Narcissus. Number 23, Adventure in the City. Number 22, The Runaway. Number 21, The Last Poacher. Episode 20, Egg Hunt. Episode 19, Law of the Jungle. Number 18, The Flying Tiger. Episode 17, Silvertail the Renegade. Episode 16, Legend of the Claw. Number 15, Two Hearts and Two Minds. Number 14, The Mystery of the Desert. Number 13, Jungle Fun. Number 12, The Return of Fancy Prancy. Number 11, Such Sweet Sorrow. Number 10, The Monster of the Petrified Valley. Number 9, The Magic Potion. Number 8, The Hunting Ground. And number 7, Catch Them If You Can. Number 6, The Trappers. Number 5, Legend of the White Lion. Number 4, Dangerous Journey. Number 3, Destroyers from the Desert. Number 2, The Day Sun Went Out. And number 1, The Wind of the Desert. But if you just disagree with my rankings of the episode, I have to say that overall the entire show was mid. Something that is at number 11 isn't that much different from the one that is at number 48 or something. The overall show was mid. Only a few of the episodes I can say they were just, even the episodes that are good by the standards of this show, by other standards they don't really have anything special to say. So yeah, this animated series disappointed me. I really enjoyed the movies, but not this one really. So yeah, now let me say my overall problems with the show. In my Kimba movies video, I said that all of them are like Bambi, and Bambi is a movie that I only watch for the vibes. And yeah, now I've realized that if Bambi had an animated series, it would have been boring because, there's nothing wrong for having a movie that is just there for the vibes. But, only a movie is good enough for that. The moment it becomes an animated series, the one that has more than 20 episodes, then you can't really just do it for the vibes. It gets boring after a while. And yes, the same thing happened here. I enjoyed all 5 Kimba movies because they are not more than 2 hours long each of them, but an animated series is much longer than that. So yeah, I got bored with this show. So yeah, my main problem with this animated series was that it was boring and it was mostly for the vibes. Like, I didn't give each episode much description because what would the point be really? It is mostly a vibe show, and yeah, 52 episodes is a lot for that. Like, yeah, I could say the other stuff that happened in those episodes, but those things just happen, they don't add much value to it. The other problem of it is that it's not really well structured. Some episodes feel like 3 episodes in one, and yeah, I did not like that, which would lead to the third problem, which is kind of an extension of the second problem, and that is there's filler in every episode. All the episodes feel like they could be done in 10 minutes, but they were done in 22 minutes, so a lot of added shenanigans happen in between that. Sometimes they have nothing to do with it, so yeah, there's also that. And also it doesn't really execute its ideas very well. Yes, there are some episodes that I can totally see the potential in it, but because of the not so good voice acting and because of the not so good animation and just the awkward silence that you could hear sometimes, and just how awkward the animation is in general, a little bit of bad writing and bad pacing here and there, it didn't really get the job done. I mean, I understand, it was the first TV anime show of history that was in color. Like, everything before it was in black and white, so yeah, that shows how old this animated series is. I mean, it was from 1965. Like, that's really old. That's like 60 years ago or something. That's a lot. So yeah, because of that, I still respect this animated series, but it doesn't mean I should love it as well. If only we had a Kimba animated show that was in the same level as the 97 movie. Like, if we had something like that, it could have been much more interesting. So yeah, I expected to like this animated series more, but I did not. But yeah, despite that, I still enjoyed the Kimba movie so much that I still want to say I am a Kimba fan. So yeah, next year I will talk about the next Kimba animated series. I know that one had a really bad dub, but I feel like that dub is going to reach the so bad it's good level. So yeah, I'm kinda excited for that, but I'm just excited for laughing at how bad it is. But hopefully the next year after that I would talk about the other one, maybe that one would be interesting. But whatever, still the movies of Kimba the White Lion and just the whole concept of it is interesting, so I will continue talking about Kimba at least once a year. But just like this one, it might be just a very generic video because the shows are generic.